This is a note about creating and cultivating and tending sanctuary space on social media. I've been working on this for a while. A lot of this has been working through shame and perfectionism, trying to focus on being true to myself and creating a space that is safe for the people who are engaging with me on social media to be able to express freely without criticism. Well, I guess criticism is fine, but without bullying, without gaslighting, without name calling. Um, I feel that I've been able to kind of achieve a space where I'm not tone policing, because I know that people's tones are valid, um, but I am really working on um, cultivating a space where people are able to dialogue with harm reduction as the main guiding principle, right? Like, harm is real, triggering is real, but harm reduction means that I am choosing to work towards reducing the harm that people on my page might experience, specifically centering people who are black and brown, queer, trans, disabled, um, etc., people facing and experiencing complex and intersectional oppression. Um, but the strategies that I use for anybody who's like saying shit that I don't like is the same, no matter what kinds of complex oppression they're facing or not facing. So, um, I think that some of the things that I really like to encourage are trigger warnings, meaning if somebody's posting content that could be triggering to somebody, triggering meaning causing them harm, then it's a simple invitation to post a trigger warning before you post that information or that content. And then a trigger warning or content warning can be TW or CW, colon, or trigger warning colon, content warning colon, um, and then and then you write like what it is what the content is that might be triggering to somebody. So it could be suicide, abuse, um, PTSD, trauma, assault, etc. So CW, TW, and then you list the content that might be triggering to somebody. And then if somebody is having a vulnerable day and they can't deal with the content, don't want to get triggered, then they actually get to choose whether or not they experience that. Um, that they get to choose whether or not they make themselves vulnerable to experiencing that trigger. So that's one of the technologies that I use. Another is, curiosity. If somebody is saying something that um, just doesn't feel good, and it's not really clear what it is they're trying to get at, like if there's some emotional processing that's happening, I might do some curiosity. I might ask them what that's about. Some people might say, this is kind of in alignment with NVC, nonviolent communication. I'm not like a super NVC person because I feel that as somebody who's like incredibly empathic, and has a lot of physiological sensations in my body that aren't emotional, that NVC is limiting, to limiting a conversation, um, and also realizing that some people are triggered by NVC. Um, but I think that curiosity, NVC or non-NVC, can be a really amazing tool for um, kind of helping somebody who's posting some shit that doesn't feel good. Um, Another thing that I try to do is try to keep people on topic. So if I post something, I try to be really specific and clear about what kind of a response I'm looking for if the response that I'm looking for is limited. Sometimes I don't care how people respond, but if I do care how people respond, then I try to be clear. And it could be, I'll use the word seeking advice, seeking resources, seeking, etc. And then I try to be even more clear about what it is that I'm seeking. Um, and then, if it's controversial, sometimes people will like respond with some stuff that has nothing to do with it. And I might, just call them on it and say, hey, this has nothing to do with my post. I might, say how is this related to my post? Again, that's the curiosity piece. Um, and I'll give people the opportunity to kind of like, calling people in to the conversation. I'll like do that invitation. Um, there definitely was this person who like was just like not on the page at all. Um, and I just ended up deleting what they posted, and I did it multiple times because they kept posting it. And so it definitely takes work, to maintain a sanctuary space. But for me, it feels worth it because I know that in my trauma recovery journey, um, being triggered by people who aren't being careful or considerate with their words, um, has been really harmful and like honestly could be dangerous for somebody, um, who's feeling suicidal or whatever. And just honoring that people who are suicidal like need sanctuary space in order to participate and work through what they're feeling.